What's going on, world? Jeff here. How goes it? Got a new camera. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, the quality should be much improved. And making up my live that I was supposed to do yesterday, but I was not able to do it because I was literally in a car when I was supposed to do it. I was driving back from Vegas. Shot a really great, I feel good about it. Shot a pretty great ad yesterday, making kind of poking some fun at all the gurus who like to rent Lamborghinis for their ads. So we rented a Lamborghini just to kind of mock the people that rent Lamborghinis for the ads. It's pretty funny. I'm excited for it to come out, but yeah, I wasn't able to do my live yesterday, so I'm making up for it today. Looks like we got quite a few people coming on. Appreciate everyone who's coming on already. Let me see. We got about 15 people on Facebook. I can't tell on YouTube. It doesn't give me that data. And then, yeah, it looks like Instagram popping on. Anyway, I'm excited to be here with everyone as per usual. Got so much cool stuff happening. I don't even know where to start. I know that today we're talking about my kooky theory on jobs and narcissism and how jobs are like relationships. And you really want to try, just like in dating, you want to try not to date a narcissist. Well, in employment, you want to try to not work for a narcissist. I'm going to explain what I mean by that. And let me say a few hellos. What's up, Michael? What's up, Christian? What's up, Jake? What's up, Romero? Who else is here? I see Jacqueline, my amazing bride. What's up, Miko? What's up, Cole? Braden? So many people. I can't keep up. But I'm grateful to everyone who's here. Gonna have a quick conversation with me. I'm feeling, frankly, I'll be honest. I'm feeling a little low energy today, a little sluggish. So I'm grateful for any interaction, any questions, any comments. What's up, Alone Wolf? What's up, Chesney? What's up, Briar? Yeah, just what's up, Kya, Matthew? I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that the world has decided that at least some part of it gives a hoot what I have to say. And actually, that makes me think, and maybe there's a lesson here. You know, for 2 years now, 26 months since September of 2018, I have been going hard to put content out to the internet that I believe can make the world a better place. Thank you, Chesney. I believe it, or I appreciate it, I should say. I've been working hard to put content out to the internet that I think can make the world a better place. And it's kind of surreal to have done that much. I mean, like, it's been hard. I've done a lot. I mean, I'll bet you I've, between lives and training videos and ad videos and internal, content training that I deliver through Antra, I'm confident I've shot 1,000 videos in 2 years, 2+, slightly over 2 years. And what's crazy to think about is it's taken that much. This is the whole 10X concept, right? Grant Cardone talks about the 10X rule. A lot of people don't like it. They don't like to hear it. I think they don't like him because of it in some cases. But look, it's true. And I'll give you I'll kind of tell you why I say that. And if you're not familiar with the 10X rule, it basically says, whatever you're trying to do, you probably need to do 10 times more of it. You need 10 times more clients. You need to create 10 times more content. You need to work 10 times harder. You need to give it 10 times more effort. You got to multiply times a factor of 10. By the way, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Joel. I appreciate that more than you know. So you got to do this 10X work. And then the other part of the 10X rule is you got to think 10 times bigger. And, I give him credit. I mean, he's lived it. He's done it. He espouses it. I heard it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And from a number of other influences, I'm like, okay, I got a plan. I got a vision. I got an idea. Apparently need to know going in that it's going to be 10 times what seems like a reasonable amount of effort. And we all know that entrepreneurship is hard. We all know that building an awesome life is a really hard thing to do. If it was easier, more people would do it. And yet, even in the knowing of that, to know that, well, even as hard as I already know it is, I'm going to have to probably do 10 times more than I thought I would to actually pull it off. And so, frankly, I've done it. I'd say I've done it for 2+ years, but this is what's so kind of trippy about it, is just now getting to the point where people are starting to listen, starting to pay attention, starting to get some traction. Some of the levels and the layers that I've been trying to break into, I'm starting to make some progress. And what I realize is I actually am starting over. Every day, I'm starting over. I appreciate all the kind words, Steve. I appreciate that. But I want you guys to tell me if you feel what I'm saying, that every day you're starting over. That it doesn't matter that I've done 1,000 videos. It doesn't matter that I've been an entrepreneur for 12 years. It doesn't matter that Antra's now, probably around 60,000 students. It doesn't matter that, we've kind of gotten here to this point. But today, ain't done nothing. Today, I'm starting at zero. There's a sign on the wall when you walk into Amazon. It says something, I don't remember exactly what it says, but it's something to the effect of it's always day one. It's always day one. Thanks, babe. My beautiful wife is giving me hearts, and that moves my world. I'm going to talk a little more about that. Every day is day one. You've done nothing. Wake up in the morning, rub the sleep out of your eyes, go look in the mirror in the bathroom and say, hey, you. In my case, hey, Jeff. You've done nothing. It's day one. What you got? That's hard. That's hard when I'll say for me, based on the effort and the exertion of the last 2+ years, to go, okay, I'm at a new starting line today. It's great. I ran a race. Okay, cool. But today I'm at a new starting line. It's like qualifying for the Olympics. You do all this work just to qualify for the Olympics. And then on the Olympics start, and you go, okay, day one, you're at the starting line. It's all happening now. Only the difference between life and the Olympics, and maybe I'd say business in the Olympics, is that there's no top, there's no pinnacle, there's no once every 4 years you get the stage and it all happens there, and whatever happens you have to live with. No, it's this perpetual Olympics. The Olympics is always tomorrow, and the training, the qualifiers is always today. And so what are you going to do today? You're going to qualify? Good. Tomorrow's the Olympics, but also tomorrow's the qualifiers for the next day's Olympics. It's every flipping day. You're starting at zero. And the more you do, the more I can see in my own life how tempting it would be. What's up, Matt? Appreciate you being here. Alex, thank you so much. John, you got that right. First day of the rest of your life. I could see how today, if somebody said, Jeff, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. 1,000 videos. Great. Woohoo. What have you done for me lately? Today, you're starting at zero. What you got? And today, honestly, it's like I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling as good as maybe I remember feeling on this one magical day 27 days ago, or whenever I had a good day, right? I'm not even saying I do or don't feel good today. Today, I'm kind of like in the middle, but every day to go, none of what you've done up to this point matters, except insofar as it's gotten here. But now what do you got today? I don't know. Anybody feel that? Anybody feel the potential to, if we're not careful in how we receive that reality or that awareness, that it could be exhausting, it could be self-defeating, it could be overwhelming, it could be demoralizing. Alex, you feel me? It could be so demoralizing to realize that nobody gives a flying crap what you've done to get to this point. It's the starting line, the gun just fired, what you got? What's up, Jeff? Appreciate you being here. Matt, I know, Matt, you feel me. And so it's like, well, what am I really trying to do? And this is what happens, is it feels like the vision just keeps getting bigger. Accumulate some kind of I don't know, new value, new knowledge, new resource, new money, new customer, new something. And then you go, okay, so all that does is create a bigger possibility, a bigger potential. It's like, now I got a bigger gun, so I can shoot a bigger target. So I got to figure out my new target. I got to adjust all my goals, and I got to totally start over because I'm actually at 0. That's big. That's heavy. But we do it. We do it. And if we embrace the idea that every day is as hard as the first day, and that if we approach every day as if it's meant to be as hard as the first day, then we can get to tomorrow. And then tomorrow we can do it again. But I will tell, this is kind of like, Jeff, this is kind of like a downer of a conversation, but I will tell you this. I can also take stock of today and say, in the last 26 months, and couple that with, I kind of started this whole realm of entrepreneurship in 2008. So I could say in the last 12 years, I could, whatever measure of time you take, if you look at it and you've been consistent and you've done the day one execution, the maddeningly difficult work of starting over every single day to try to accumulate a little bit more, to build a little bit bigger vision so that you can start again tomorrow to try to accumulate a little bit more, to try to build a little bit bigger vision. And every day you just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. Eventually you can look back and go, even if it matters to no one else, and I get that it doesn't matter to anyone else, and frankly, it shouldn't matter to anyone else, and I don't expect it to matter to anyone else. I don't want pats on the ass. I don't want accolades. I don't want people to appreciate my yesterday, but at least myself, I know that I can be proud of the work that I've done. That can do a lot to at least fuel you for today, right? Guys, some of the comments that I'm getting right now are like so moving and so cool. Joel, I appreciate that. Craig, so true, man. And so, now today it's like, okay, I got to do it, and there's context to what I'm saying, and I'll explain it a little bit, but I've got a vision now of what I'm doing that's so much bigger than what it was when I started. And it's so much more daunting, and it's so much more intimidating, and it's so much more humbling, and it's so much more challenging, because it's like, who am I to do this? Who am I to do this? When you started then and you had a vision and you did the work to build towards that vision, it's like, okay, I'm doing the work that fits in with my vision of my life. But then once you do that work and you move the starting line up, and now you've got a new starting line to do the next phase of work, and you expand the vision, eventually, I think this has been the hardest thing for me. Eventually, the vision of what you're doing, because it gets bigger every single day, it'll outgrow the vision of who you are. This is the hardest thing. And I'll just put this in very concrete terms. 2+ years ago, I said, I want to help people have a more awesome life. I want to share with people what I've learned and help them have a bigger, better life, right? Okay, so I've been doing that for 2 years now. And I've achieved a certain amount of that, right? I mean, look at the comments, look at everything that's happening right now. People are giving me the validation, the feedback, say, hey, you've made an impact, you've made a dent at least. But now, and actually it's not but, it's and now. There's no but. The reality is that's amazing. It's the best work I've ever done. It's the thing I'm the most proud of in my professional life in 41 years. But also, I look at where we are now and I go, okay, where do we go from here? I mean, what does seeing this through really look like? And it's like, shit, I've got to change the world. I've got to redefine education. I've got to redefine entrepreneurial education. I've got to crack a code that I have not seen anyone really crack, which is, and it's been coming to my mind in this way. I've been saying to myself lately, entrepreneurship is generally what happens. What's up, Marie? Entrepreneurship is generally what happens when smart, creative people either drop out of school or they finish school and they get to work. That's usually when entrepreneurship starts. It's when somebody finishes their education and they get in the real world and they go, okay, I'm going to do some stuff, because And it's going to be stuff that's largely built on stuff, not the 25 years. School gave me some opportunities to develop some decent habits, but it didn't prepare me for really any of the work that I've done. I was a jazz piano major. It didn't prepare me for any of the work that I've done. It didn't teach me how to make tens of millions of dollars on the internet. It didn't teach me how to reach tens of thousands of people around, actually now it's hundreds of thousands of people around the world. It didn't teach me how to build a business. You know, I've probably created in my 12 years since I went online and started getting some traction between my agency and my education business and a few other things I've done. I've probably created, I don't know, close to 1,000 jobs, certainly over 600 or 700 jobs. School didn't teach me how to do any of that. I've had to figure it all out myself. But to me, I say figure it all out myself. I've learned. No, I didn't figure it out. I learned it, but I didn't learn it from school. I learned it from other people, from mentors, from trailblazers, from the people that came before. But listen, I honestly think it's kind of bullshit that entrepreneurship is what happens after schooling, after formal education. Why isn't there formal education that teaches people how to change the world? Why isn't there formal education that teaches people how to have dramatically above average qualities of life? Why isn't there traditional education that teaches people how to develop mission, vision, and purpose that creates momentum and alignment and attraction and galvanic energy and brings teams together and creates momentum and force and disruption? Why is none of that taught in school? I mean, I have some theories. I don't think the people that run our schools could teach those things because it's not the work that they do. Schools are basically bureaucracies, you know, operated by bureaucrats how could they talk about, listen, here's how you take ideas and convert them into innovation and attract teams and go out and create thousands of jobs and generate millions or billions of dollars. Like, how could schools teach that? Because no one in schools does that for the most part. Antra is changing that. Antra is changing that. And here's the thing. I thought I knew this. I knew it intellectually. Now I know it viscerally because in the last year, there's been so many young people who've reached out to me, who I've connected with, who've been like, thank you. Thank you for finally teaching us this stuff that actually creates purpose to education, because so many people, they don't get the point. What are they being educated for? They're being educated for jobs they don't want and a life that isn't fulfilling. And all the stuff, you know, let's say you want to go raise money to fund your idea. Let's say you want to improve your credit so that you can borrow money. Let's say that you want to learn how to organize an operational structure so that a team of 5 that's undercapitalized can do the work of a team of 50. Let's say you want to learn how to be able to move people through words. Let's say you want to learn how to be able to sell people through words. Let's say you want to learn how to change your relationship with the internet from being a consumer to a producer so that you can produce and create value that reaches and connects people. Why isn't any of that taught in school? Again, I know the reasons why, but it doesn't mean it's right. There's always reasons. Things that are right have reasons. Things that are wrong have reasons. I think it's wrong. Of course, there's reasons, but I still think it's wrong. So now, after 2 years of reaching people and sharing some stuff about how to have an awesome life, it's like all I've done is built myself a new starting line, built myself a way bigger team to go to war with. You know, when I started, it was me and I had a handful, a kind of a remnant of a team from my agency and a few people helping me out, but it was nothing formal. Now there's a team of, depending on how you slice it and who you count, but there's a team of like 100+ people now. And we're going out to battle. We're going to battle Harvard. We're going to battle the U.S. Department of Education. We're going to battle all of these pseudo-entrepreneurial educational environments. And I'm not going to say who's good and who's bad and this and that. But I mean, we're going up against everyone from the ClickFunnels and the Tony Robbins and the Grant Cardones and the Robert Kiyosaki's and the Tim Ferrisses of the world that are kind of over here. We're going up against the Harvards and the MITs and the Columbias and the Stanfords over here. We're going up against the government and the IRS over here that has a vested interest in keeping the status quo. We're going up against all of them. with an idea bigger than all of them put together, which is that if we actually educate the right way, we put the power back in the hands of the individual person so they can go out and do their. What I've done, pardon the term, which is build an FU life. Forgive me, I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying it to the world. F you, world. You don't own me. Sure, I pay my taxes, and I'll pay my taxes. But beyond that, you ain't got nothing on me. I'll go where I want. I'll do what I want. I'll be who I want. Because you don't own me. Because I broke up with you. I broke up with all the little controls, but I did it because I got the knowledge and I got the tools. I got the power back. And I believe there's got to be a way to educate the world about how they can do it too. How at an individual level, look, it doesn't have to be as hard for them, for you, as it was for me. It's taken me 25 years of radical, anti-establishment, borderline insane levels of belief and commitment and passion and drive to live an FU life, to get to where you don't own me. But it shouldn't have taken 25 years. I shouldn't have had to work this damn hard. Antra is going to change that. That's what we're doing. We're not teaching people how to make a few bucks on Instagram. We're not teaching people how to place affiliate links. We're not teaching people how to launch their course. We're not teaching people how to set up their Shopify store. We're not teaching people how to, provide Google My Business services for agency services for local businesses. We're not teaching people how to maybe configure their own app or launch their own software, or we're not teaching even like invest in real estate, like none of that. That's all the details. That's all the means. The end is to get people to the world to the point where they can look out at the world and say, you don't own me. Somebody just said, I've done a master's and a bachelor's. This is on Instagram. Everybody feel free to read this quote on Instagram. I'm not making this up. Head Coach 56. My brother or my sister, I can't tell, but thank you. I've done a master's and bachelor's, and Antra was worth more than college $70,000 retail education. That's what I'm talking about. That is, thank you. Listen, if you second that, if you honor what Head Coach 56 just said, give me a like, give me a share. Let's get this out to the world. Isn't it time that the world stopped listening to the mouth-running puppets who pretend they have their best interests at heart, who pretend that they're showing them this path to riches and abundance and fulfillment? Share this. Let's get the real message out to people. That there is a code, and Antra is cracking that code. And together as a community, we're building a movement around cracking that code. And I'm telling you, it's a crackable code. I cracked it, but it took me 25 years. And I had to take risks, honestly, way beyond what I feel like you should have to take just to get to a place where you can kind of say to the world, you don't own me. Look, man, if you want to make $1 billion, if you want to build a massive empire, if you want to have a certain caliber of life, you should have to break some molds. There should have to be some risk. You should have to put your neck on the line. Like I honor that. Somebody just said, build Jeff Lerner University. You know what? I am. It's called ENTRE Institute. Thank you, Kiara. I appreciate the validation. That's exactly what I'm doing. It's called ENTRE Institute. But you shouldn't have to put yourself so far out there just to be able to have a life that you enjoy. That's my belief. It's fine if there's certain levels that you have to really extend yourself to get to. Like, if you want to be a professional athlete, there's a certain level of commitment. You want to be a certain type of, doctor or something. There's a commitment. There's a certain level, a risk. Like anytime you go all in, there's risk, right? Like I'm not anti-risk. I actually just think you should work on building yourself up to the point where you're a risk worth taking. Any risk that you apply yourself to should be a risk worth taking, which it is if you're good enough, right? You say, oh, we're gonna invade this country, and it's really scary because it's big and they have a lot of guns, but you know what? If we send the Navy SEALs in to do it, that's a risk worth taking because they're that good. They're good enough that it reduces the risk of the risky thing. If you're good enough, It reduces the risk of the risky thing. Frankly, I've spent 25 years getting good enough. That's what it is. I'll own it. I've spent 25 years getting good enough that I can show up on day one of this day and this life and say, now or else I know I'm playing small. But for my vision to be that big, my vision of myself has to be that big. And that means, okay, am I the guy? Am I really the guy that wants to go fight this fight? It's almost like running for president. Like, you're like, I look at the government and the world and I'm like, dude, I actually think I could be president. Not I could be president. I think I would be a decent president. Like, I actually think but it's like, am I the guy to do that? Do I really want to fight that fight? I don't know. I kind of think not on that one. Frankly, I think I can do more good here. And it's probably a lot less of a thankless way of doing it. Although, you know what? I have no doubt. I have haters already, and I'm going to get a lot more. It's the same in that way, but it's that constant pushing and stretching of yourself to say every day I'm going to accomplish a little bit more. But when I accomplish a little bit more, I'm also going to expect a little bit more. And if I'm going to expect a little bit more, it means I have to be a little bit more so that it's reasonable to expect a little bit more from myself. And to grind every single day, like, it's one thing to go, I want my wealth to compound a little bit every day. You know, I want my wealth to compound at 1% per day. That would actually mean that it doubled every 72 days, by the way. That'd be pretty awesome. I want my health to get a little bit better every day. I want my bank account to get a little bigger every day. I want my impact, my reach to grow a little bit every day. But here's the thing, that's only a reasonable goal if you're also wanting yourself to grow a little bit every day. But for you to keep growing at that kind of rate, like, let's use money, because money's a kind of a very objective way to score a thing, right? Let's say you have $1,000 in the bank and you want to get to $1 million. Okay, so I want to increase my bank account by 1,000 times. That's 100,000%. Okay. But do you also want to increase your expectations of yourself by 1,000 times? In other words, whatever I did to accumulate $1,000, I'm going to expect myself to do 1,000 times that much to accumulate $1 million. If you reframed it, if you go up to somebody and say, hey, how'd you like to have 1,000 times as much money? They go, oh, yeah. But if you asked a completely different question, you didn't attach it to money and just said, hey, how'd you like to have to be 1,000 times better than you are just to be okay? People are like, no, I want to be okay as I am. Okay. I'm not talking about, like, your moral value as a created, organism. Like, we all have innate self-worth. We all deserve that. But in terms of the results, in terms of the execution, I'm going to expect 1,000 times more of you. Anybody want to have that conversation? You are expected to do 1,000 times more conversation. I mean, a lot of people resist that conversation, but yet everybody would jump at the chance to have 1,000 times more than they have. See the breakdown there? Doesn't make sense. And that's the scary thing about truly taking stock of what you've done and going, okay, well, based on what I've done, now what could I do? And how much more do I have to demand of myself to do it? And that's why people don't keep going. That's why people don't keep going. People rise to the setting of their thermostat and then they shut off. Like, I had to turn my AC off before this live because I walked in this morning and the heat had been, it's not the AC, it's the heat. The heat had been off for a few days because I was out of town and I forgot to keep it on. So it's like 58 degrees in my office. And so I turned the heat on, right? And it just keeps pushing and it keeps pushing and it keeps pushing. By the time I went live, it was up to like 64 degrees, but I had it set at 70. I'm trying to get it all to 70, right? So the heat is not going to shut off until it hits the thermostat setting, right? So I had to turn it off so I could do the live so you didn't have to listen to it. But are you the same way? Where's your thermostat set? And when you hit, based on what you've done up to this point, are you satisfied? Have you hit the thermostat setting? Have you shut off yet? Are you willing to turn it up every single day? Because when you have more, you should expect more. To whom more is given, more shall be expected. Right? And people, the second you don't do that is the second you plateau, which in biological terms is the second you start to die. It's the second that your cellular degeneration is not kept up with by cellular regeneration, and that's called decay and ultimately death. I like living, but to live, I got to grow. To really, truly live, I have to really, truly grow. And at this point, for me, that means I have to go take on a fight so much bigger than I ever had a clue was where this was headed. It's a great calling. And I want to encourage you that if you push yourself every single day, you can't see where you're going. You cannot see where you're going. But I promise you, it's a bigger, better, more awesome place than where you are. But you have to keep pushing yourself every single day. And one day you're going to wake up and you're going to go, whoa, I did all that. So now I can do all that. I did all this, so now I can do all that. But to go do all that, I have to be the guy that can go do all that. And honestly, that scares the shit out of me. And then you have to look yourself in the mirror on that day and go, well, I'm going to have to do the work to be that person then. But here's the thing, like, what else are we going to do, man? We only get one life. What else are we going to do? And why else would we want to do it? Anyway, today's conversation is supposed to be about narcissism. Let me tell you this little theory I have. This kind of popped into my head a month or two ago. I was interviewing my friend Mike Dillard, and I kind of like had this epiphany. And earlier in that day, I'd been on a podcast by a lady who's a divorce attorney who her podcast is around dealing with narcissists. Super interesting. Hopefully she didn't have me on as an example of how to deal with a narcissist. No, she didn't. She had me on because I got bullied a lot as a kid, and I got to talk a lot about overcoming, shame and those kinds of challenges. But I realized as I was talking to Mike that a narcissist is what? Like if you're dating a narcissist, how's that going to show up? They're going to want you. They're going to want to tell you where to be. They're going to want to tell you when to be there. They're going to tell you who you can talk to. They're going to want to check your phone. They're going to want to tell you what to wear, right? What to say. Maintain. They're going to want to control you. And so if you're dating that person, you're like, well, I like the concept of dating. I like the concept of love, but I definitely don't like the way it feels with a narcissist. So I'm going to try to find someone who's not so narcissistic and controlling and build love with them, right? But what about our job? Telling you when to be there, telling you what to wear, telling you where to go, telling you how to show up, telling you to put your phone in a drawer, telling you to, what days you can take off, telling you no when you ask for certain days off, telling you, all this stuff. It's not that different than a narcissist. You're dating a narcissist. If you're in a job that fundamentally controls your life and doesn't invite you into it, doesn't enroll you into it, just essentially subjugates you to it, to their vision, their definition of what your life is supposed to look like as a participating employee in their world, they are your narcissistic, abusive partner or spouse. Doesn't mean the idea of employment is bad. For some people it is, for some people it isn't. Just like for some people, dating and marriage is good and dating and marriage maybe isn't bad, but isn't it worth maybe trying to find a new employer that's not such a narcissistic bastard? Because there are ways that you can engage in a value-based relationship with a company or a business. Like, look, I employ people. I would ask my team, say, hey, like, I'm an employer. It's not that I don't have expectations or standards and we're not involved in a reciprocal relationship, but do I treat you like a narcissist? Do I control you out of fear, out of my own fear or my own ego? If so, I would love to be called on it. But I tend to think that's not the case. Like, we have a pretty cool culture. So it's not that employment is bad. It's that working for a narcissist is bad. It sucks. And yet most people do it. And because I've never heard anybody frame it in this way, it passes for normal. Like if you go sit down and have lunch with your friend and you're like, yeah, I'm dating this guy. And, he checks my phone every night and he tells me I have to wear short skirts because I look like an Amish if I wear a long dress, and he wants me all sexy and he tells me how I have to be and he tells me how I have to act and he makes me kiss his butt and he won't let me see my friends, and he told me I have to quit my hobbies because I'm not allowed to have other interests or other passions, or that your friend would be like, you need to break up with that guy. He's a narcissist. He's an asshole. He's abusing you psychologically, right? But you sit down and talk about your job and be like, yeah, they're all up in my stuff. You know, I used to have a friend that was an engineer for Schlumberger. And Schlumberger, thanks, Valerie. Schlumberger built their own apartment complex to house their young engineers so that they could literally spy on them. They could control everything about their life. Dude, you worked for a narc. This was like decades ago. I lost touch with the guy or whatever. But I remember him telling me, he's like, but I know they have listening devices and I know they control everything about my life. And I know that they issue me a company issued laptop and a company issued cell phone. They record my keystrokes. They record my calls. They monitor every message that goes in and out. They're always worried I'm going to, you better not be talking to somebody at Halliburton. Better not be talking to somebody at Halliburton. They narcissistically abuse the crap out of this guy and they call it a job. And you know what? He thought he won the lottery getting that job. It's like, I went to engineering school. I studied hard and I got a job at Schlumberger. Somebody just said my employer would also control my social media as well. Somebody just said, sounds like Scientology. Yeah. In religion, that's cult behavior. In dating, that's abusive behavior. In employment, it's called a good job. How did we get here? This is insanity. Break up with the narcissist in your life. If you're working for a narcissistic employer, I don't know, have them watch this live and see what they think. See how they defend themselves. Oh, somebody said this hit home a little too hard. Hey, man, the truth will set you free. Anyway, I got some other work to do. I think I've said my piece for the day. Love and appreciation to everyone. Don't sell yourself out for a narcissistic, abusive relationship. You're worth more. You know, I saw a meme the other day that was something like a paycheck is how they drug you into forgetting your dreams. It's true in so many ways. Joel, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, we got a new camera set up to improve the stream quality. I just appreciate everyone. And I will catch you Monday. I'm going to go do some work. Take care.